Hello, welcome to my Responders Treehouse camp build video. This is actually my fourth and so far my absolute favorite camp that I've made. I was inspired by treehouses in the game and also some amazing treehouses that I've seen from other players on Reddit. And I really wanted to go for this classic Fallout feel where everything just had this really nice scavenged look to it, lots of bits poking out here and there, various building materials, and just very kind of classic scavenged wastelander aesthetic. It's technically a camp on a stick because the only connection to the ground or the only support is from this floor base right here. But I wanted it to at least look like it was being supported by the tree. This is a really great tree to build in, but it's a very popular location. You can see that I'm over here by the Wayward. That was actually on purpose because I wanted to make a responders camp that was really, user-friendly for new players to get new resources. I do a lot of materials drops here at this little free station here, and I just really wanted it to be a place that was really useful for low-level players. Of course, that means sometimes I do have to spawn my camp in as much as 5 or 6 times before it actually works. I've got my vending machines down here so people can just bypass the whole camp if they just want to come in and out and buy something. So if you walk up into the camp, we've got our little office here, which is basically sort of the command central where we can greet new folks as they come in. I've got a little unattached speaker here that's kind of my walkie-talkie, so to speak. I also just really wanted to have a really scavenged feel, so lots of mismatched furniture and little beds crammed here and there. You might take a nap or something on your way or after a particularly hard day. And we've got Raiderpunk here. I really wanted him to be a part of this build because he's got this radio. So this is basically our sort of central communications post, and it's decorated with lots of things that the Raiderpunk would love. Various cryptids and kind of eclectic materials here. And the color in this room looks really great at night. Lots of blues and purples. And he actually does use the sleeping bag a lot. I find him taking naps over here with his little sheep squatch. And he'll use all of the different levels of the camp. So even though this is kind of a complex vertical build, he does go up and down and seems to really get around. I find him in different rooms all the time. And every little room in each of these levels has its own theme. So here we've got our medical bay with our symptomatic, and of course, just little examination station here and various things that kind of say doctor's office. But we've got the mess hall here, and that is far and away my favorite part of this camp. It just has a super cozy feel to it. It's really warm. It's also the part of my camp that took the most time and effort to build because of this right here. I knew I wanted to have my windmill poking off of the back, and I wanted to build underneath it. That actually took a lot of work because you're not really able to build underneath the windmill normally, and so I use these two rugs. They're kind of overlapping each other, and by doing that and kind of placing things just right, which took a lot of trial and error, I was able to place items underneath and really close to the windmill, which you're otherwise not really able to do, which is too bad because it's a really cool vertical space in here. I also used the rug trick to get a really tight fit to this bump out to the floor here, and so this is just a really good trick. If you don't know it, you could place an item on the rug and then move the rug, and then it's just a way to kind of get around some of the limitations, especially if you have to squeeze something into a really tight space. So now I have this little balcony where we can kind of look off and check out things in the Wayward, make sure we don't have any liberators kind of sneaking up from behind. And then, of course, we've got a little lounge area here with lots of little bits and pieces of random items and furniture, just a place to kind of chill and relax after a long, hard day, saving lives in the wasteland. I did use the sinking item trick to fill all the shelves with these items because you're unfortunately not able to place items that you create in the camp building process. So you just have to stick things on the top shelf, sink them down, stick the next level of items on the shelf, continue to sink down, and just do that over and over again until everything sort of works out. It took a little bit of trial and error, but was not as hard as I expected. So I was pretty happy with the final result. So yeah, this is our little lounge here where our responders can hang out after a long, hard day. And continuing on up into the science sort of tinker room, we've got a lot of little bits and pieces here just for folks who are working on different projects. I actually sank the theremin backwards into this bench because you can see there's some kind of fun little bits and baubles poking out of the back. It just looks like, maybe people are tinkering, trying to figure out how to crack that safe. Just lots of little projects going on here. And then I really love this space. It's my kind of workbench porch, and more little bits and baubles here on the various tables. And I have this power armor station, and one thing I really love to do is just collect random bits of power armor out in the wasteland, and then I drop them so that they look like they're being worked on by the at the station, but anybody can just walk up to them and walk off with them. Usually they'll stick around for a while though, and because they're dropped, they're persistent. I obviously don't do this with my fancy power armor sets, but it's a fun thing to do with some random power armors that you might find out in the wilderness. Just grab a chassis and stick a piece or two on it. And oftentimes low-level players will come and pick it up, and that might be their first set of power armor. So it's kind of a nice resource. I've got little housing quarters in here, kind of an old-timey feel. And then if you follow me through here to the bathroom, we've got our porta potty and then a nice little space here for outdoor bathing with a lovely view of the Wayward from the bathtub. Semi-private, nice little spot. And then if you go up to the top, it's just a little grill and chill space. One thing to keep in mind if you do a really vertical build like this is there is a limit to how tall you can build, and so just be really careful. Try to give yourself as much space as possible by placing your camp module in as high of an elevation spot as you can, so that you can get as high up into the tree as you want. Because if you were just a little bit lower, you might not be able to build here. I was really on the line with this spot. You can see I'm using a trunk or a lockbox stash box here, and that's because if I had built a table, it would have been too tall to place that lamp on. So just something to keep in mind. Give yourself as much vertical space as you can, so be strategic there. So we've got a little rooftop garden space up here with a nice little place for the chickens to hang out on their little astroturf. And yeah, that's my Responders camp build. I hope you enjoy the treehouse. It's a really fun challenge, and definitely recommend it if you can find a good tree somewhere to give it a try. So thanks.